Alrighty, then I guess we're live and people will start flowing in slowly, hopefully.
That sounds good.
So we'll wait a minute or two, as I've mentioned to you, and we will kick things off soon. Mm,
Sounds
So
exciting.
if you guys are joining us, please write on chat to us. Let us know if things work and you see everything and it works. I think I did the settings correct. I do hope. Uh, right. Chat settings. Attendees can chat to everyone. Okay, cool. This works.
Yeah, I do see a lot of familiar names, which is really cool.
Q&A works. Perfect. I see Firefly note taker on the chat as usual, joining in. Alrighty. I guess we can slowly start. So I'll do the usual, which is introduce a little bit what's gonna happen here today, the first session of the day. So hello everyone, my name is MJ and I'm the co-founder of ZenABM. And today we have a Bilal with me, who's a GTM engineer at Userpilot, who's going to be teaching us how to build lists. It's going to be a workshop, very hands-on, very live exercise kind of thing. So you don't wanna miss it, and you're gonna wanna pay attention. We will have recording of this session uploaded by the end of the day to our YouTube channel. We have all of the recordings uploaded as well from the previous sessions. And feel free to ask questions either on chat or for Q&A. We do have two sessions today. So it's going to be first Bilal, and then there's going to be Taz Bauer with her session about building landing pages, a guest speaker. So it is also going to be awesome. So before we proceed, 5 words about ZenABM. So what is ZenABM? ZenABM is a tool for running ABM campaigns on LinkedIn. It's a platform that essentially gives you insight into company level engagement, job title level engagement, intents, account scoring out of the box, the entire customer journey with deal attribution. So you understand how your ads are affecting deals you're opening and closing, how much they contribute to these deals. We give you analytics out of the box, so both pipeline and revenue attribution. You see how much you're opening, how much you're closing, how many companies you're reaching, what's the revenue, ACV, all of these metrics out of the box. The setup takes like 3 minutes. We have 37-day free trial, so give it a try. I'll put the link in the chat. We have an AI chat agent, AI agent Zena, who sits on top of your data, can answer any questions you can think about your data, how it affects your revenue, what are the hot companies right now, which campaigns are underperforming, anything you can think of, Zena can probably answer for you. And yeah, we have a 37-day free trial, as I've mentioned, code bootcamp 10% off, limited to 50 users, first come, first served, valid till the end of the bootcamp, so 24th of February. And without further ado, I will hand it over to Bilal, who's gonna show us some really cool stuff. I had a sneak peek, so pay attention.
Thank you so much, MJ. Let me start off with something that's gonna, I think, get people started. Um, yeah. So how do you waste your budget on LinkedIn, right? That's where we're gonna start. And I guess most people will see the same thing that there's this one boring way of wasting budget on LinkedIn that you're not gonna even notice, and that's through having a bad list. Um, and there's a big problem with that because you're not gonna see your CTRs dropping, you're not gonna see your CPMs dropping. But and the worst part is you're still probably gonna be spending on LinkedIn ads for these accounts, but you're not gonna see any pipeline coming through. And sort of if imagine you have this ABM budget, right? And in that ABM budget, you have these sort of leaky faucets, wrong accounts, duplicate accounts, wrong personas, companies that are totally bad fits for you. For example, if you don't target agencies, right? And you're targeting agencies in your target list. And it's not easy to identify because unlike everything else on LinkedIn, nothing is going to break. LinkedIn is going to keep on spending on LinkedIn ads. You're still going to see your CPM, CTRs, whatnot. It's just that you're not going to see any pipeline through, right? And this is exactly what I'm talking about this because I've been sort of building these lists for so long now that this one major thing that you do at the start of your campaign sort of makes or breaks it, right? So, diving into this session, what I'm going to do is not just talk about how I think of list building, but also show you actually live today of how do we build it, right, for our own selves. Um, and I'm pretty sure all of you will agree with me on this one. I used to use Apollo and Zoom Info a lot. Apollo is still good, but there used to be this old way of sort of list building, which was I knew which industries I need to target. I knew what job titles I need to target. I used to go into my whatever tool, let's call it Apollo, Zoom Info, whatever, pick those industries, export as a CSV, pull it into LinkedIn. Same with job titles. Go into that company's, filter by the job titles I care about, pull it into LinkedIn, right? The problem for this approach was that every sort of tooling out there has their own definitions. So industry definitions, even for companies, vary a lot. Which industry definition do you go by? If you go by, let's say, employee size criteria, right? Which employee size do you care about? Do you care about the LinkedIn employee number that shows on the main top banner that the companies put themselves, or do you actually care about people's associated with that LinkedIn page, right? Same for other things like revenue numbers or whatever. And there's two problems that happen with this approach. So the first problem is that you go either very broad. So which is you end up spending on accounts that are not good fit, or you end up going too narrow and you fit like so you sort of like miss on good fit accounts or good fit, contacts. So I'll give you an example, right? So let's say I want to target SaaS companies, right? And I go in and I build out my list for only SaaS companies. The problem that happens is I get a lot of companies, a lot of accounts that are not SaaS companies, but things like SaaS agencies, SaaS consultants, SaaS recruiting, and whatnot, right? So I won't only not get the right companies, I'll also include bad fits in it, right? So in essence, what happens? So let's see this diagram over here. So let's say if you put in 5,000 accounts, right, in your audience, and you only have like let's say 30% wrong accounts, and you're like, hey, you know what? It's okay if I'm spending on that. The problem is not just with spend. What happens is of course, LinkedIn's algorithm is gonna learn from those bad fit accounts. So you're actually paying to learn slowly because your LinkedIn algorithm is not gonna learn on the good fit accounts. It's also gonna learn on the bad fit accounts. So it optimizes sort of delivery to the easiest responders and whatnot, right? So that one mistake sort of can ruin not just your spend, but also your training LinkedIn ad algorithm to the wrong audience, right? Um, and what's the new way? So again, I learned a lot by uh, trial and error. We used to go with pulling exports from Apollo, pushing them, to LinkedIn and seeing what worked, what didn't work, go back or choose a different industry every single time. So be like, oh, okay, so this month we're only going to choose, let's say, healthcare, and then build a list for only healthcare companies and go by that. Um, I think with AI and whatnot, the new way is to stop trying to be perfect. And what I mean by that is now we have the ability to pull broad, to have more accounts being pulled in and then narrow down and do the sorting. And I think this is going to be the future as well, because in this way, you're not just learning one time, you're constantly learning. And I'll show you what I mean by that. Um, so, as an example, right, how we start by this is imagine you have a bucket of your whole, let's say, account list that you would care about, right? But not all of them would be all strong fits, right? So you'll still sort of tier them out into, let's say, SAM or TAM, or tier them out into tier A, tier B, tier C. Um, and that's where AI can sort of come in and help a lot because both now the data is cheaper, let's say with Clay, right? But also classification is way cheaper now, because you can run a API call to, let's say, 5.1 mini, GPT 5.1 mini, and it can instantly do the whole sorting out for you for that particular account. Um, so this is sort of what is my mantra now, or sort of my Bible right now to follow, which is, and how I go about any list building. Number one, how I start, and again, we'll dive into Clay Live in a bit as well to show you how I do this. But how I go about this is, the first thing is the truth for me, right? So the truth is basically the things I know about what I target. So this includes, if ideally I have customers, right? So this includes my customers, which is the good fits. And then this also includes the bad fits, because that's also very important. I need to know what accounts or contacts I don't want to target at all. So for example, in, like, again, this session, I'm going to focus on targeting SaaS companies, for example. Um, and my truth is my customer list, you know, people who've already bought from me, and I know they're good fits because they're ready to pay for my solution, right? Bad fits are basically accounts or contacts that I know would never really buy my tool. And that includes agencies because it's not for them, for example. That includes consultants, freelancers, students, whatever, all of those bad fits, or even personas. And that's by the truth. And here I get a lot of questions of companies starting out and be like, hey, we're so early on that we really don't have a customer list. So how do we get that, like, initial list of good fit accounts? And this is where sort of you manually have to go in, and everybody like knows that, hey, this account is a good fit account for me, and this is why, right? So you need to build out this manually, and this can be a list of, again, I say minimum 30 accounts, because again, you need a sample size of something. It should be a lot more than that, but again, minimum 30 accounts. If you don't have a customer list, go build out manually this list. Do the same for accounts and do the same for job titles, right? But job titles I'll go deeper into. The second thing after that, what we do is actually swap this. So there's one thing missing here, which is, once you have this customer list, you enrich that, or not the customer list, let's call it the truth list. You enrich it for every single data point that you care about, or that you can imagine you would care about. And this includes things like employee size, revenue, B2B, B2C. Is it SaaS? Is it not? Do they have a web app? Do they not have a web app? Are they running LinkedIn ads? Are they not running LinkedIn ads? Whatever, based on your industry you care about, right? For some people, it might be, do they have warehouses? Do they not have warehouses? For some people, it must be, do they have like office locations? Basically, these things that are your custom fields that you don't really get easily, but you know that you can't really sell. If I'm, let's say, selling to companies that only have offices in Netherlands, the thing that I need to enrich my truth account is how many offices does each company have, right? So things like this. So that's what you do. You enrich them for all of these data points that you would care about. You take all of those data points and pull in all accounts that you could possibly find for those data points. So let's say in my truth, there are 10 industries in total, right? There's healthcare, there's fintech, there's manufacturing, there's pharmaceuticals, there's like XYZ. Now, I wouldn't want to limit myself to only one industry. I'd go in and I'd pull accounts from all of the industries that I could find in my the truth, list. Um, and that's what I say, like, you get your wide pool of accounts from. Um, and this, again, I'll show you how to get it in Clay. It's very cheap now. Data is very cheap now. So you can go as wide as you can. What you do then is where sort of I think I would like to go now, which is based on the truth accounts and the truth, again, people contacts and the fields that you've enriched. You enrich divide pull accounts with the same fields. So ideally, you'll have the truth, which is your list of accounts or contacts with all of these enriched fields, and then the accounts that you pulled out through whatever Clay, Apollo, Zoom Info, doesn't matter, and you enrich them with the same fields, right? And that's when you score them because, and that's where AI comes as well. So now, of course, like Claude, I think Claude is really good. So what I did was, for example, I downloaded my the truth list of customers, enriched them with all of these accounts, and pulled them into a CSV and put them into Claude, and then put my wide account list, also pulled it for all of these columns, let's call it, or fields that let's call it, that needs to be enriched, and asked it, based on the customer list, identify if the other CSV, if this account is good fit or not. If yes, give me the reasoning. And this is where the QA comes in. So this is where a lot of back and forth you need to do of, is what it's returning or what your prompt is returning, is it true, is it good, is it not? So you sort of give it examples of, hey, let's say ZenABM, is it a SaaS? If it says no, you need to say no, yes, it is, give it the reason why, and sort of do this back and forth a couple of times and rerun it. And that's how it learns, sort of, until you get to, I would say, like 90-95% accuracy, right? And that's all you need to do. Um, and then once you have this, so you'll have the accounts. In those accounts, you'll also have people. For those people, you do the same thing. So what you do is, for those accounts, let's say I have my customers at 10 different accounts, right? Those customers are of certain job titles or personas, whatever. I'm going to pull in the, let's say, a clay table or a CSV, whatever, enrich those contacts with all of the fields for the contact level. That includes job title, job function, how many follower count do they have, how many connections do they have on LinkedIn, are they active, are they not active, anything else that I would care about at the contact level. And only once I have the accounts, I'll go in and pull in all the job titles that are in my the truth list in these companies that I filtered out. And that's when you have your account list, your contact list that's targeted and based on the real sort of truth list, which is ideally your customer list, right? Um, I'm gonna stop here. I got a couple of things, MJ. Do you have any questions or are we good?
No questions yet, but I encourage everyone, if you guys have any questions, ask them on chat or via the Q&A.
Perfect. I got a couple of Slack pins. I thought it's you. But that's perfect. Okay. Let's go. Let's go. So, let's do it live. Well, what do you say? I'm gonna switch over my screen. We're gonna do this live in Clay. And the reason we're gonna do this in Clay is it's it allows you to orchestrate the whole thing. So imagine it being a data warehouse or a bunch of Google Sheets that you can sort of interact with live, but you can also call stuff within them. So you can call your own API keys, you can call other tools within it, and sort of you can build it. So um, I know we're restricted on time as well. So what I did was, oops, why can't I
Before
switch?
we switch to Clay, we have first question. I think it's quite relevant. Uh, the question is, what if I don't have a list, just a sector? For example, all CFOs in UK's NHS.
Say that again.
So what if there is no list, but like a sector, for example, like CFOs in UK NHS? So there is no company list per se.
So we're talking about account-based targeting here, but what you have is also an ideally, like these CFOs would work somewhere, right? So if, let's say, you have a list of CFOs at, you said NHS, right? If I'm not wrong,
Yes.
that essentially is an account list as well, because you need to infer it through. So I like contact list or account list are, imagine there's the same segments, both of them intertwine. So within an account, you have these contacts and you can infer both things. So either you can infer contacts and then go to accounts, or from accounts go to contacts. Does that answer it?
I think so. If not, then please ask a follow-up question. And another question, quite simple. Do you recommend using company or contact list for ABM campaigns? I assume for LinkedIn is the question.
So this is where you need to go in and try out for yourself. We have tested out both. Again, depends on the use case, and that's the reason I'm saying that you need both. So ideally, you work on both account and contact lists because you're going to need both. If not on LinkedIn, then you'll still need the contact list to reach out and to give it to the sales team. So test it out yourselves. The problem with contact lists on LinkedIn is that if you're, let's say, if you're targeting a job function that is present on LinkedIn, then you really don't need to go in and put in the contact list and hit your match rates, because you have that targeting sort of option in LinkedIn of if your function is there or job titles are there. But for a lot of companies, the problem is that LinkedIn has specific options to choose from in the targeting. So even if you upload a really, really good account list, if you don't have those options that you care about in LinkedIn, you're much rather better off to push an contact list into LinkedIn and sort of target that. Cool.
We have more questions flowing in. So maybe we try to go. Okay. Follow up to the first question was, no, I do not have any names for the NHS. So how do I actually get initial names? As these people are usually not on LinkedIn. So
Okay. Yeah. So see, that's our first problem. So if your target account list is not on LinkedIn, right, you need to figure out where they are because that's the main thing. So for example, a lot of companies, they target business owners that have businesses listed on Google Maps or Apple Maps, whatever, right? Um, and those people are almost never on LinkedIn. And a really common way to go about this is there are a lot of these scrapers like Appify, Actors, whatever else, that you can go in and scrape details of these companies. And in a lot of them, internally, they'll have the email and they'll have the contact name, whatever, from there. So you need to identify where is your audience sort of living, right? If they're not on LinkedIn, are they, on, I don't know, Reddit, Hacker News, wherever else are like, is there a public directory? A lot of times for NHS, let's say, there's a public directory or something that's going to live out there that you can scrape to get this contact details out of.
okay, cool. I think we answered this that yeah, for the UK public sector, scraping some different data sources might be the answer. And there is one other question. We have pulled a list for some companies from DAC and 200 to 50 to 1000 FTE and
Mhm.
reached in cognizable ample market. But we have noticed that we have very few contacts for each company, many with only two contacts. What is the best way to increase contact coverage? We are considering Sales Navigator, but it doesn't seem to provide emails.
So, again, depends on where your audience live, right? A lot of times, companies, let's say if there's a manufacturing company, the manufacturing company will say they have 10,000 employees, but on LinkedIn, only, let's say 500 of them would be active or would have even a presence on LinkedIn. So if your persona is something that you're targeting, but they are not on LinkedIn, they don't even have profiles on LinkedIn, then you need to go outside of LinkedIn and extract information from other directories. There's a lot of niche directories. Trust me, you can find anything and everything on the internet if you're sort of devoted enough. But let's say if you, in your case, you pulled in those accounts and you are for sure right that your contacts do have a presence on LinkedIn, and it's the data of Ample Market or Clay or Apollo or ZoomInfo, whatever, that's not providing you the whole coverage, right? So Sales Navigator, I still think is the best way because again, it's LinkedIn, right? So there's no better way of finding real-time correct information about LinkedIn, people basically that are on LinkedIn in those accounts. Again, I'm not advocating about this, but Sales Navigator lists can be easily exported or scraped outside, and you can enrich those people for email through different providers. So you have a Sales Navigator list, you can literally create a lead list, save it, pull in the link of that Sales Navigator link into these tools or whatever, scrape all of that list, and then run a waterfall to enrich their emails. So Lead Magic does that, Prospeo does it. There's so many tools out there and they're really cheap. And it's literally gonna go in and find you the email address of that person. So with that, you're gonna have not just like big coverage across, again, there's nothing better than Sales Navigator. A lot of these tools, they get their data from LinkedIn, right? They scrape it. So um, there's no better coverage, and you will get the emails as well easily for them. And if you need suggestions on the tools, I can just DM me. I'll give it to you. I don't want LinkedIn to ban me, so I'm not gonna say this out loud here.
Alrighty, no more questions. Let's go with the live workshop part.
Let's go. So I'm going to give you a bit of context here, right? So what I'll show you in Clay, and the reason again I'm using Clay, it's because it's an orchestration engine for me. So I'm going to assume, and this is a hypothetical scenario, that my customers are only SaaS companies that are B2B. And that's all I sort of know right now, that, hey, my target account list should be only B2B SaaS companies, and that's it. And right now I'm struggling. I don't know industries. I don't know anything else. All I know is it's B2B SaaS companies. I have a list in HubSpot and I've sort of pulled it in into Clay, right? Um, so I prepared something here. So this is again a very basic Clay table right now with a bunch of demo companies right now here that are coming in from my HubSpot. Um, and these are my, let's say, the truth list, right? My customers. But as you'll see, for even for my customers, a lot of the information is missing, right? So a lot of what I have, for example, LinkedIn profiles are not there. I don't even have them. My data is incomplete. So the very first things I do is, right? So again, this is where Clay is so powerful. I wanted to do this in person, but I realized we're going to run short on time. So I built everything already, and I'm just going to show you what I'm doing right now. So I'm running a simple prompt right now to find the LinkedIn profiles for these companies that I don't have. So what it's doing is it's basically a prompt that's running, and I can send it over to you as well. It is almost 99% it's accurate. And it goes in and just finds me the LinkedIn profile of the company that I don't have, right? And it's costing me less than 0.000, probably two or something. It's not showing me the cost here, but maybe here. It's not showing me the cost. But as you can see, like it's going in, it's reasoning it, it has the confidence, it's going in, finding me the LinkedIn URL. And I'm just pulling that into this one formula field that I'm saying that, hey, if you have the use AI, there we go. So I'm saying if in my HubSpot, I have the value of LinkedIn, get it from there. If I don't have it, get it from this AI enriched field. And that's all. So now, at least for most of them, my data is accurate, right? So I'm filling in the gaps for my truth list. Now, the very next part, what I do and what I encourage you to do is there's this one thing. I'm going to just include a column here. And so in add enrichment, I'm going to do view all. There's this one.
So one super quick question. What
Yeah.
Clay plan are you on?
So I'm on the pro plan, but for this, you can be on any plan. Explorer is the ideally the best one because you get access to APIs and whatnot. The reason I use Pro is just because of the credits, and that's it. And with the CRM sync, it's easier.
Okay, and is it cheaper to use prompt rather than using the find LinkedIn profile enrichment in Clay?
Yeah, yeah, almost 100 times cheaper. Because, for example, for me, I need to do this across thousands of accounts. So for me, doing this for thousands of accounts, it cost me less than $1 because I'm using the like 5.1 nano, which is really, really cheap. Um, yeah, so where was I? So the very first thing I do is this enrichment for companies from Clay. So this is Clay native enrich company. And the reason I do this, and I'll show you, the reason I do this is this part. So this is my, I enriched LinkedIn profile. And what I gave it was just my LinkedIn URL. That's all. I found my LinkedIn URL for the company and I just gave it that. And the reason I like this so much is because of this. So these are all of the data points on the right side that you can see that Clay will give me by default for one credit. So for only one credit, you'll see what I'll get. So this company size is what the companies put in themselves on LinkedIn. I don't trust this because for me, my audience is like this can be an intern putting it the number of employees. I'll show you what I really care about down. You'll see the employees here. But so employees type, if you care about, hey, are they public, are they private, blah, 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 country, when were they founded? If you care about, oh, they recently founded XYZ, the industry on LinkedIn. Again, so this is important because this is what you'll target on LinkedIn as well. So industry, locality, locations, description, I use a lot because I sort of infer this into AI that, hey, I put in everything for description into the AIs. If they have any followers on LinkedIn, I'll scroll down, right? So things that I really, really care about. So industries, you'll see what industries, is this the primary industry, if they have included more than one industry. And the things that I really want to show you is this part. Where did it go? Actually, let me run it again and see if it comes up. Uh, da, da, da. Okay, it is not coming in this one. Maybe let me run with this one then. Let's see. So there we go. Okay, found it. So for some reason it wasn't coming in that. So this is the part that I really, really care about, and which is why I recommend Clay. So there's this derived data points. And derived data points are basically Clay's own reasoning into fields that needs to be enriched for this company. And this data is not directly coming from LinkedIn. It's Clay derived data, but it's really accurate. And what this gives me is a deeper understanding of my accounts. And what I mean by that is the scale or the scope of that. So scale scope is basically, are they are they local, are they international, are they physical, more mortar, digital, whatever else? What are the sub industries, right? And this gives you a deeper insight into your own sort of list, the truth list, right? Your customer list, whatever. Where are you winning, basically? The pattern tags. This is really good because it gives you sort of a list of things you need to care about. So for example, for this company, it's B2B, it's an AI chatbot, it's lead generation, right? For other companies, it might be something else. It gives you the business type. For me, again, as I said, I really care about B2B SaaS companies, and that's what I'm gonna use. Business stage, early stage, what are their revenue streams? So a lot of, for example, for a lot of us, it's easy to infer that, oh, okay, so if it's a subscription or a recurring um, revenue stream, they're most likely SaaS, right? So you can sort of bake this into the prompt as well. But you can also see what kinds of revenue streams do they have. It will show you ads as well if they have ads as a revenue stream. And then what are their primary offerings? And this is again what you'll use. So you can add everything to another column, and sort of this way you'll find everything that you need to care about in this one credit cost for enrich company, right? Now there's one thing that's missing here. So the only thing that was missing here was it still doesn't tell me how do I find if it's SaaS or if it is a web app, or let's say some like, yeah, do they have a web app or not, right? Now I need to enrich for some things, some more things. Now I know that if they have certain technologies, they're a good fit, right? So let's say my competitor technologies, right? So within Clay, I just run built with, and then again, it's not that expensive as well. So you can find all of the technologies that are being used by this company, and you can filter it out for the technologies that you care about. So let's say if they're using a competitor, of course they're the right fit for you, right? So it's a no-brainer. So that way you'll instantly know that, okay, so now you need to, in order to build your list, you need to find the technologies that you really care about. Now, this part is where the fun comes. Now, there was a lot that I didn't get from the clay enriched fields, right? And those parts are, is this company a SaaS company or not? And then second, let's say if I'm only targeting companies that have a web app or that have LinkedIn ads running or that have physical offices somewhere, this is where again you can just call out your own sort of AI to go in and find that data point and give you the output in the way that you want, right? So for me, after all of this and all of the reasoning, I want only three things that I really care about. Is it SaaS, for example? Does it have a web app? Does it have a mobile app? And is it B2B or B2B SaaS? I care about nothing else from all of this. Same way, you can go in and do it for other things that you can't get from the enrich company enrichment, which is things like, is this company running LinkedIn ads, right? How many LinkedIn ads is this company running? Does this company have warehouses in XYZ location? Does this company have more than one headquarters? Like things like this, things like the custom things that you would manually research. Now you can just create a prompt, templatize it so you can save it and just run that at a very, very cheap price across different companies altogether. So that's, for example, what I did here. And I found out that I do have, like, again, so it's going to go and enrich all of these. And because I'm running short on time, what I did was I'm pushing this again, saving this information back in HubSpot for myself, but also this is where I run an analysis and I found out that, oh, are my hypotheses correct? Should I really just target SaaS companies? Should I not target SaaS companies? I'm not going to show you this part because this is where your worksheet comes in. I'm going to send you the prompt as well, but you'll basically need to enrich your own the truth list, go in and figure out where you're winning the most and build out your sort of account list bullet points, right? So for example, for me, that might be companies, or for MJ, for example, that might be companies that are running LinkedIn ads, companies that, or let's say companies that are running LinkedIn ads more, that have more than 30 LinkedIn active ads right now, and companies that have at least one ABM title person uh, in the whole company, right? So you'll see this way that is what your hypotheses are they true or not, right? So the same way, what I'll also have is I'll just go into here. So what I'll also have is, for example, in my HubSpot, I'll have people that I'm winning, right? So imagine I don't have any other data points. Imagine I only have what I have is I only have the name, the title, or in the company name, right? And I can even find the domain. But for example, let's imagine I do have the domain, right? And now I'm like, oh, okay, so how do I enrich this person? Again, you run the same thing. So I'm just gonna go in, use AI. I have a template, I think so. If not, you can all like again find a lot of these templates. So there we go. This is a template I created. So this is the company name. First name is this. Let's say URL I don't have. I'm just gonna do. this one. Or actually, let me go and quickly create this right now. So I'm just gonna do LinkedIn URL, and I'm gonna do first name and last name. So first name and last name. So just to show you, okay, there we go. So I'm gonna go back, run an enrichment. You can create your own prompt easily. I just created mine that is stick by. So full name, company name, the first name of the person, the last name of the person, and the LinkedIn profile that I don't have, right? And that is it. So I just click on apply template. I'm using my API key. I'm just gonna go in and do the cheapest one. Let's say GPT-5 Nano. I'm gonna go down. Okay, this looks good. I'm running it only if LinkedIn URL is not present. So I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna stop this. And I'm gonna find the LinkedIn URL for that person. So there we go. Let's just try and hit run. Let's see if it finds it. And once it finds it, what we're gonna do is we're gonna enrich the person as well. And I'll tell you why do I care about enrich person. So what was the LinkedIn profile URL? I think it was this one if I'm not wrong. Yes, it was. Email. Uh, I don't have it right now. So I'm just gonna click continue. I'm gonna remove everything for now and run this up. Okay. Why is it taking so long? I'm gonna hit refresh.
That's
A lot of
classic whenever
time,
you do anything live.
yeah, like because I think a lot of times I hit my API rate limits as well. So I think it might be that I've hit my API rate limits. I can change it really quickly to Clay. Go Clay. Save me from my costs. Okay, let's go. Let's see if my API was a problem. Run, please. Or is something a problem? Let's see the template. Template looks good. I'm gonna do a hard refresh just right now. Okay. Live demos, guys.
Yeah,
So,
classic.
anyways, I'm gonna go in and try and pull MJ. MJ, what's your LinkedIn profile? Do you know?
I do. I can give it
Let
on the
me.
chat, or I'll
There
give
we
it
go.
somewhere on chat.
I
Chat looks good.
Okay, I found it. I
Oh, thank
found
you.
it. All right. So I am gonna go back. So again, this is gonna give you LinkedIn profiles. I don't know what's wrong right now, but either way, I'm just gonna put it LinkedIn profile here. Um, and I am gonna click on enrich person right now. And this is really what I care about. So I want to use this and not what data lives in my CRM because that's put in by the person itself. And I really don't want to trust it because of a lot of things. So it's going to give me everything that you care about. And these things are the ones that should matter to you. So number one, the title, because all of these titles you're going to combine and pull across your account list. They're going to pull in whatever titles you found and just run it for all of your accounts. So let's say if you have a couple of CS people, right? And you're like, oh, I really don't sell to CS people. But if they're buying from you, why are you not, going and showing, like including them in your target accounts or audience, let's say. then anything else that you care about. So, for example, for me, I care about that they should speak or have English in their LinkedIn profile. Or let's say if I'm targeting someone, like my, let's say, campaign targets only Polish speakers, this is a really good way. Or you find from your truth account list that you mostly have Polish speakers as your customers, then that says something. Same for education. You can have like education, you can filter it down because this is what's going to allow you to n- narrow down your target audience. And again, because you have all of these columns, you don't need to do this yourselves. You can just pull all of these columns in, download this CSV, push it to Claude, and tell it that, hey, I want to make sense of my data, analyze it for me and give me the takeaways, whatever. So you get everything. You get, again, the experiences. So are they currently at somewhere? Were they previously somewhere? So you get all of their previous experiences. You get the dates, whatnot. What you also get is these things. And this is what I'm going to like, this is what tells you that are they active on LinkedIn ad or no. So connections and followers. If you see people with connections less than 100 and your average or your median across your truth list is, let's say, less than 100, that tells you that your audience is not really active on LinkedIn, right? And you should, instead of maybe advertising on LinkedIn, you need to go figure out where do they live. Um, so this one enrichment again is going to save you so much time because you're going to have so much data on that one person that is your customer or is buying from you that you can put it into AI and it's going to sort of um, give you the analysis of what makes sense, right? And that's what you're going to use to pull in people. So I'm not going to show you how to pull in people because I think that's the easiest thing you can do. So it's literally a built-in Clay thing where you can go find people and find companies. Again, everything you pulled, and so many people showed this in the previous sessions as well. I don't think it really makes sense right now for me to go about this unless somebody really wants me to. But you're gonna, based on your truth list, you're gonna go in and include everything you found for the industry, for whatever else locations, and pull in this whole wide list. So you can find 50,000. So once you find 50,000, you go in and exclude that, and it's going to find you another set of 50,000. And then you go in and exclude that, and you're going to find another set of 50,000. So, and all of this data is again free. So it's not costing you to get any of this. So what's stopping you to limit yourself to a bunch of accounts, right? So again, based on whatever you get, you go in and you do all of this. What I really care about and what I'm going to talk about is imagine you go in and you do everything, right? But now you want to, and this is what sort of we came across as that imagine you already have traffic coming to your website, right? Imagine if you already have people coming to your website and you want to automatically filter them through your ideal persona and automatically push them to your LinkedIn ads, right? That's what you want to do. That, like, the ideal goal for anyone should be to build a process, right, that you're happy with and automatically classify or analyze accounts that are coming in inbound, see if they fit that criteria. If not, they're not a good fit for you. If they fit, then do something with it. MJ, you want to
There's
say
one
something?
question is do you get a like last active date on LinkedIn coming in from any of these enrichments?
Not really. But
So
when
it's
I
more
say
of an educated guess about whether the person is active or not.
yes, and that's why you need to infer things. So last active date is based on what? If is it based, like, again, there's so many proxies that you can go by. You can go by the number of posts that they have, the last post. You can use AI for that. You can go on the proxy. Like I usually go based on the number of connections and followers because to me that gives a really good proxy. Is someone at least active on LinkedIn or not? And if it's anyone below 300 connections or 200 connections, I'm like, I am not going to push that into LinkedIn because that person is never going to see my ads. But anyways, again, so this, imagine now we have our criterion. decided, we analyzed, and it's an auto running thing. So automatically every customer that you close gets into that bucket or that table. It enriches all of the fields. The fields enriched go, AI analyzes it, see if the sort of composition changed. Like, for example, maybe you're winning more now in a different industry or XYZ, whatever. You're expanding your features, your products, XYZ. So it's an auto evolving process. What I'm caring about is now, for example, what really matters to me is I'm running ads on my website visitors, right? And my website visitors, so I'm retargeting them on LinkedIn. So when I'm retargeting them, I want to see if they fit into my criteria, and if yes, pull in people from that. So here I just did like a quick webhook from here, that hey from, and again I chose the specific retargeting campaign for myself. You can choose whatever campaign that you care about, and this is just literally pulling in the companies, right? So from ZenABM, I'm getting the company LinkedIn, so I really don't have to look for it, and it's giving me the domain for them, and that's all I really care about. What I now do is based on my people search, I am going in and I'm going to show you. So click on edit. Oops, not here. Go to source. There we go. So I'm going in, and here I really care about only specific things. So I know based on the truth account or the truth contacts that to me, I should only target VP Director C-suite, and the job titles should be only job titles that are similar with demand gen, because that's all I really care about. And these are all of the titles that I really don't care about, that I know for sure are not going to buy, right? And also, I do know that I only care about people in the US. And I really, really, really don't care about APAC or Latin American region. So you do this one time sort of filtration to pull in people, right? And what it does is anytime a account comes in who's a good fit, you automatically it automatically runs this search and finds that right persona for you in those companies, so you really don't have to look anywhere else, because I want an auto building, auto populating audience on LinkedIn. I want that anytime an inbound account comes in and it's a good fit, I enrich those people and I push them back into LinkedIn, right? That's the ideal sort of rotating flywheel that I care about. So it goes in, and here, like again, I'm finding the email through waterfall, and if I find the email, I'm pushing them into my campaigns, but also I'm pushing them on LinkedIn right now. This now Clay does have like automatically sort of built-in audience push uh to LinkedIn. Let's see, actually, do I have access to it or not? Okay, I don't have access to it. But similar to what you see here in exports, like download CSV, send table data, blah, 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 you'll also see export to ads or export to ad providers or something. And it's going to have LinkedIn, it's going to have Google or whatnot. So you can directly push audiences from here as well, instead of pushing it back to HubSpot or whatnot. Um, I know we only have like 5-ish minutes. The reason I did not put this into AI right now is I'm gonna give you a prompt and a worksheet where you'll pull in the people who are, let's say, winning from you or are your customers, and run them through that prompt. And that's how you're gonna make sense of companies that you're winning the most in. And you're gonna do the same for contacts as well. And once we do that, that's where we will sort of go from. So we'll try and run this process of pulling in your sort of people you're winning like against, or accounts that you're winning most, analyze them through AI, enrich them through Clay. You can use the free trial. I'll include the link. It's going to give you like a 14-minute trial, so you can use any email honestly you want. But sort of the thing that you have to understand right now is the the teams that are going to win in 2026 are the teams that are gonna improve fast and learn from where you're winning the most in. So you can't just like build audiences once and forget about it or build your lists once. You need a recurring process of anytime you win an account, it goes in and it feeds into that system and it learns from it. And that's why you need either, let's say, Clay or a data warehouse or where like whatever else that you can sort of build this learning mechanism into, right? So um, y- that way you will sort of go beyond from arguing about revenue. Like, is revenue from Clearbit more accurate? Is revenue from Zoom Info more accurate? And actually go into things that should matter to you, which are sort of these niche, custom, enriched fields that no tool can give out to you natively. But those things you need to sort of first hypothesis about, enrich, and then go by it. Damn, I think I talked a lot, MJ. I need to breathe
That's
it.
okay. We need to wrap it up. So we will
Let's
be
go.
sharing everything with everyone, and Bilal will be on Slack if you guys will have any extra questions.
Absolutely. So this, I'm gonna like take a screenshot if you want to. I'm gonna share this as well. But the new playbook should be you get customer lists, both accounts and contacts. You enrich it for data points that you really, really care about. You analyze it using AI. You pull all accounts that fit this filters, that fit any kind of filter that you got from the customer list. You score the accounts based on this prompt. Again, I'm going to send you the prompt so you can try it out yourself. You remove the bad fit accounts. This is where QA comes in. So you do a lot of back and forth. You put in deliberately some of your customers to see if they pass the check or not. Then after that, you find the people at these accounts that based on the contact enrichment, which was your job titles, personas, and whatnot, right? And then you go back, you test manually, you improve, you repeat, you build out this process. And that is it. So I think we're right on time as well. I'm gonna send a workbook link. Um, so again, it's gonna have 5 tabs in it. It's gonna be very self-explanatory. It'll have the prompts and everything within it. You can pull in your again ideal customers that you want to close or actual customers. Run the prompt, analyze it, find accounts, score them, see why do they fit, why don't they fit, do a bit of QA back and forth, map the personas or contacts that you really care about, and build out your account list and build out your contact list with everything in it. And then you can export it as a CSV and push it to your LinkedIn ads if you want to.
Awesome. All right, Bilal, thank you. And yeah, we're gonna be wrapping it up super quick because a reminder to everyone, we're jumping into a different Zoom link. I'm gonna post it on Slack or you can find it in the agenda. We're gonna have another workshop coming in 2 minutes. So that being said, everything that Bilal showed will be in the resource center and you can ping him on Slack if you have any questions or follow up or something was not clear. I will see you in a second.
All right, ciao.